All right, guys, welcome back. We got a very special edition today.
Yeah, man.
Of the Earn Your Leisure podcast. So, shout out to New Orleans. For sure. This is
looking for me. I'm in the 504.
In the 504.
504 boys.
You heard me.
Yeah, one of the best things about the podcast is that we get to travel, and we even without traveling, we get to meet people from all different parts of the world, right? And different cultures and different dialects and just different cultures. It's really dope. So yeah, we got my guy Wallstreet Trapper here today. He's gonna tell his story, he's gonna educate us on the stock market, all kinds of stuff. But once again, I wanted to give a shout out to New Orleans because I always say like New Orleans, they got every place in America has different accents, right? Depending on where you at. But some places just you can't miss it. It's like really
distinct, right?
Baltimore and New Orleans, they got their own, especially New Orleans. New Orleans might have the strongest accent. Like you can't
hear me?
Whoa there. What is whoa? What does that mean?
That just mean my guy.
My young friend?
My guy. It's like saying my
like
guy.
my youth.
But I'm going to tell y'all something. Like, we don't even use that, yo.
Oh, yeah?
Nah, I know that's something after these stuff,
when we heard you talking, I heard son. I heard you kept saying son. I'm like, he got a little New York in him.
Well, I came out here I was in Delaware. And I got some trouble out there. And it stuck with me. Yeah?
All right. So this is an exciting episode because we covered stocks before, but we more on a surface level, like as like 101 education. So I think this would be a little bit more of an advanced conversation. And the guests, they have different backgrounds.
Yeah, everybody's path is different.
Everybody's path is different. And that's one of the things that we really like to highlight with the Earn Your Leisure podcast too, is that it's so crazy because we have people that graduated from Harvard. We got people that come off the street corner, right?
School of Hard Knocks.
About to say it, man.
The beauty of it is that education can't be measured in just one particular way.
Right, it's limitless. Like, there's no walls to it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So my man Wallstreet Trapper is a perfect example of this. So I'll give the people a background. So you learned about the stock market while you was incarcerated.
Yeah.
Right? And then you came out and you was telling me that you was actually working as, not a foreman, is it an iron?
Ironworker.
Ironworker. Ironworker.
Yeah.
But at the time you was like saving like 70% of your income and you was invested in the stock market. And from there, you just, developed a system that you put in place and you were able to quit your job. And now you're a full-time investor as well as you have an educational platform as well to teach people to invest. So it's an inspirational story for sure. So yeah, can we talk about that? So how did you get involved in the stock market and how did you learn about stocks?
So I was in prison.
For like 10 years, right?
I did 10 years for attempt murder on robbery.
Okay.
Right?
That's 16.
Yeah, I was 16.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 16, charged me as an adult. So I got in a fight with these 3 dudes in a cell with me. And they did what's called, they ran a train on me. So that's when you fight people back to back without a break. And I didn't win. It's 3 against 1, but I fought till I ain't had nothing left in me till the SARS come. Right, so I was bust up, but they were bust up, right? So I go to the hole, which is solitary confinement, and I'm in the hole with this white guy, right? And I guess it just was like on his brain because he just saw so many black people in there. Like real talk, it must have was just bothering him, yo. And he, like when I come in the cell, I'm like furious. I'm like, man, like I'm still in that moment.
Yeah.
And he like, hey, bruh. He was like, y'all are playing the wrong game. And I was like, you think it's a game, bro? This ain't no game, man. You see what we got going on around here? Yeah. But he was like, I don't mean no disrespect by it, but I'm like, well, you really being disrespectful right now, fam. Like, I ain't trying to hear that, fam. Like, but I calmed down, and he was like, I indulged in that conversation with him. I was like, so what do you mean? And so he just told me, he was like, you in here for, shooting somebody. The average person who's in here is on some drugs or shooting somebody, something like that. Y'all playing the wrong game. So I'm like, well, you in here with me, so what game you playing? So you can tell what kind of charge somebody on by the wristband. So if you're on a capital offense or a violent crime like I was on, you'll have a red band. So that's murder, attempt murder, carjacking, kidnapping. If you have a drug charge, it'll be an orange band. If you have a misdemeanor charge, it's a yellow band. And if you're a federal offense, it'll be a white and red band in New Orleans. So he had a white and red band, so I knew. So I'm like, well, what you in here for then? So he was in there for embezzling some money from his business, $2.8 million.
Those are the white collar crimes.
You dig? So he kept $800,000. No, he paid restitution of $800,000 and kept $2 million. So I'm thinking he lying. So I'm like, well, one thing about prison is if I see your paperwork, it'll tell me what you're in here for. So he showed me the paperwork, and I was like, oh, like that got my attention. And so he just told me 3 things that wealthy people do is they stop trading time for money, they give value to people, and they let their money work for them. And the best ways for you to make money is through the stock market, through real estate, and through a business. And that's me paraphrasing it. And because he told me the stock market first, that's what I went with. And so through the remainder of my prison sentence, I just educated myself about it. Because I don't know how this is gonna sound, but I just saw a whole bunch of white people on TV talking about millions of dollars all the time.
It's like foreign language at it.
Yeah, like I was like, yo, what is this, family? And so in prison, it's crazy because a bunch of grown men love to watch like The Young and the Restless, bro. Right? It's just crazy, like Guiding Light and stuff like this, but like they love to watch that. Yeah. So instead of making that a fight, I would get up before them and watch the stock market early, like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Like CNBC?
Yeah, I would watch CNBC like early in the morning. And I would be like, I just used to watch it. It was painful because I didn't understand it.
Yeah, a lot of numbers running across.
Yeah, I was like, what is this?
A lot of colors.
Had another dude was from Connecticut, and he used to get the USA Today. And so he used to let me look at his USA Today, and I would use that and look at the stock market back and forth. That's how I got the language started making sense to me, because rather than reading the interviews, I got to read the actual business section of the USA Today. I got to actually see, without trying to record it in my brain, I would see it in the newspaper. And so once it became like regular, I started reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which I got introduced to by my homie. He was doing 20 years for manslaughter. So once I got into Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it was a mindset shift more than an investment book. Yeah. And so the two aligned because I understood at that point, this is how we playing the wrong game. Everybody I know how to sell dope. Everybody that I know, that's what they do. Even with my moms, I saw my moms get shot. When I was young, when I was about 9, I saw my moms get shot. And then like right the next year, I saw my cousin get shot in the chest. So everybody I knew was in the same circle. And here are these people talking about stocks, ownership, millions, billions, and that shit just blew my brain. So I just stayed with it, and I got it, understood it. So that was me just getting into the stock market right there.
Dope. And then I guess from there, you just consumed as much information as you could.
Well, in prison, you got
nothing but time.
You got time. You got time, but you don't got time. Because you got time because I ain't going to no club or nothing, but I still got to work every day. So I work.
And in New Orleans, is not to cut you off, but in New Orleans, you actually work, right? Like I don't want to say chain gang, but like you work outside.
Yeah. So I got transferred to prison.
Were you in Angola?
I went there for a little while.
Okay.
To help them with some sandbags. That's the penitentiary.
Yeah, that's
the penitentiary.
That's where murder is.
Yeah,
right?
That's the penitentiary. But I was in 2 spots. One called Phelps Correctional Center, and then they transferred me for smoking weed. So they made me a high security risk. And so when I went to a maximum security prison, that's when I got on a chain gang. When they got a working cell block.
So they got a real chain gang still?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but they probably don't have it no more, but when you're in a working cell block, that's what you're doing. I cut trees down for about 190 days.
Wow.
How much you got paid?
8 cents.
A day?
Yeah. No, 8 cents an hour.
Oh, okay.
You get 8 cents an hour. So yeah. But when you're in this working cell block, you don't get no pay. You don't get no pay. That's punishment. That's the jail within the jail.
And that's something that, this is a little off topic, but it's really not, because it all comes down to finances. But that's something that a lot of times people don't fully understand. Like when they make these documentaries.
13th.
The 13th.
Yeah.
when they talk about like free labor and stuff like that, it's $1 billion industry as far as prisoners working.
Yeah.
But they're not getting, it's free labor.
Yeah, but Kanye said that.
That's what it's designed for.
Yeah, that's the new slaves.
Yo, check this out. Just imagine driving on the highway and you see acres of land. Now you see machines doing that. So just imagine I'm the machine. So every day, it takes 4 of us to cut a tree down because 2 of us gonna chop it down and 2 of us gonna de-root it. You know what I'm saying? Like it may take us a week to do that, but just imagine they got 100 of us out there, 200 of us. Like in a year's time, we gonna run through that bitch. You know what I'm saying? And then they just going, okay, well, since we got 18 million acres of land, let's just go to the next pasture. Okay, we don't got no more trees right now. Okay, well, y'all gonna plant mustard greens. You gonna pick daisies. Whatever we got y'all, you know what I'm saying?
We can find out.
Like y'all gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? So that in itself, you gotta do that.
One of the things about learning is that it becomes very exciting and you can feel it in yourself when you grasp something. So I'm just envisioning as you're learning about stocks, right?
Yeah.
You're in an environment where it's like, the dude's really trying to learn, and are you trying to teach at that point, right? Like, how do you share like all this wealth of knowledge? Are people like, I ain't trying to hear that right now?
Right. So the thing about prison is so dope, bro. Like, is because some of the smartest people you'll ever meet is there. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm talking. I say smart. Like, I got a lot of my tattoos are done in prison, but they're done with an actual like gun, like a real tattoo gun that they made.
Yeah.
So your mind, the mindset of people in prison they with it. You just gotta present it to them. So for me, I wasn't in the teaching phase yet.
Okay.
I was a sponge for it. But because everybody is reading something. Like you got dudes reading on metaphysics, you got dudes reading on Islam, you got dudes reading on Christianity, you got dudes reading on 5% Nation. Like everybody trying to tap into something. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So for me, I was tapping it. Not real estate is something a lot of dudes in prison tap into. Mm-hmm. A lot of dudes in prison tap into real estate because it's what you see.
Yeah.
And Rich Dad Poor Dad is like, it runs through prison. Like it run through prison. So for me, when I was reading stocks, it was like way different. So I was like by myself. And they were like, man, what you reading, Free? I'm like, man, I'm reading the stock market shit, but this is serious right here. And I would actually get the paper and read it. So I didn't really get into the teaching aspect of it till I came home.
Okay.
Like once I came home, they were receptive to it. Because again, not saying like I was just John Gotti or something in the streets. I was just a regular dude in the hood, just getting it out how everybody else get it out the hood. You know what I'm saying? So, but my perspective was different. So we learn from who we can relate to and who can break the message down the best. So for me, it was simple. Bruh, we like to wear designer clothes. I love Louis Vuitton. I love Gucci. I love Prada.
Don't forget Fendi.
I love Fendi. Love Fendi. And all my homies drink Hen. They're all owned, well, most of them are owned by a business called LVMH.
LVMH, yep.
Which the guy is like in the top 3 richest people in the world.
Yeah.
So if Louis Vuitton, Moet, and Hennessy own YSL, and they own Louis Vuitton, and they own Hennessy, and they own Moet, and this is what we buying in the club, it feel different when you own it. So I used to tell my partners, if we gonna go to the club, why not just own it, and now we flexing different. We stunting different, because now we own Hennessy. So every bottle you pop is your own business. That was intriguing to, like, damn, son, like, real?
You got him.
I got him.
Now you got me.
And then it was with Tim's, like this company VFC. Like they own Dickies, they own Timberland, they own Vans. So I would tell my homies, like, bro, we wear Tim's every day. We wear Dickies every day. Bro, let's own it. And they were like, what the fuck you talking about own? I'm like, yo, like if you buy stock in the business, you are literally a shareholder.
You got a piece of the pie.
You got a piece of the pie, bro. So they bought into it. And so once they bought into that, the next thing was, yo, check this out. If you go to prison and you come home, you don't have no money. So now you scrambling again. You taking the chances again. Mm-hmm. But what if everything we hustle for, we put a portion of it in the stock market?
Yeah, because that was the initial purpose, right?
That was the purpose.
Like, yo, let me help
you clean money.
Clean the money.
Clean the money. Because we always looking for a way to clean money.
Right.
And they looking for us to have a laundromat, or they looking for us to have a car wash or a barbershop.
Right.
They not playing us to be smart enough, and I probably be exposing the game right now. You feel me?
Like Shotty says, don't worry, no one's listening.
You know what I'm saying? But for me, it was, if they don't think we that smart, we have the advantage, right?
Yeah,
because they're not expecting it. Even when they great situation when they kicked my door in 2010, my door got kicked in. They ramshacked my house. They even took my Escalade, but they couldn't take it because I still was paying a note on it. They looked at all my bank accounts, but they never looked at what I had invested. That was never even an option.
I thought, yeah.
It wasn't even he not that smart.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So the initial goal for me, bro, this is how we clean money. This is how we can, get advantage in the game. That part resonated. And also it was like, okay, let's say because nobody runs through more money than a dope boy and a stripper, yo. Nobody.
Facts.
That's a fact.
Nobody.
All facts.
Well,
nobody.
Maybe a rapper.
Probably a rapper.
And an athlete.
No, but see, he got to get a check. We talking every day hand to hand.
Yeah, that's true.
He got to get a check every week. We talking every day hand to hand.
That's true.
Like, you not touching it like that.
Yeah. But he blows it.
But he blows it. He blows it.
Same principle.
He's saying, but it was because we touching money every day.
That's a fact.
Because we touching it every day, all day. Like, yo, like for me, it was nothing. I can easily say I was making about $2,000 a day. Mm-hmm. Easy. It's nothing for me to take. Okay, let me take $700 to put that in the stock market right quick. Like, it's nothing. It's just that quick.
Yeah.
Now it's even easier. So it's like, okay, let's say you go do a 10-year bid and you done accumulated $12,000, $13,000, $15,000 before you got popped. Mm-hmm. If you go do a 10-year bid and your money in the stock market, when you come home, depending on how the stock perform, the market gonna averages 9 to 10%. Right. So your 10 bands or your 20 bands can easily be an extra $10,000 over a 10-year time span, and because you ain't do nothing with it and you reinvested everything. Mm-hmm. Now you ain't gotta come home and scramble. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You don't have to come home and scramble no more. You literally beat the game. Or if you gotta lay down for a long time, or you get killed, you left your people something.
Yeah. At the peak of it, how many people did you have?
Everybody in my hood.
Everybody, the whole hood.
Where you from? Like, what part?
I'm from out mid-city. So it's right across the tracks from the 17th. Well, Lil Wayne, everybody see Holly.
That's Uptown, Holly Grove?
Holly Grove.
I'm right across the tracks from that.
Okay.
Right across the tracks from that. So, like, my hood kind of, we from the 17th, too. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, that's us, too. You know what I'm saying? But because everybody from that part, like, we went to school together. They came on the track. They dealt with our people. It was a good thing. But then right across on this side is, like, the third ward. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was like, it's complex, but we understand it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I was right across the track from Holly Grove. So like everybody when I came home, everybody who I dealt with in that circle, we was with it. They was with it. And they still with it.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, they still with it. So
you changed the narrative for real.
For me, that's what it was about.
Yeah.
It was about me. Like, one of my partners told me this. He said, bro, y'all probably blurred this out. He said, bro, you a square nigga in a street nigga body. And I was like, what? He was like, because you think different. Like, we would have never thought of that. In our mind, we like, okay, how can we take this money and go get a business? And you thinking about buying the whole damn business. Like, that's some next level shit.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about that a lot, the feeling of ownership, the power of ownership. What was it like when you got to see your partners actually have that feeling for themselves? That
was better than anything. That was a euphoric, because I knew at that point we touched something that nobody never taught us. Nobody never taught us about investing. Everybody teaches us how to blow money. Work for it, blow it. work for it. That's the way the system designed. Yeah. It's designed for us to make money and spend money. That's why companies spend billions of dollars on marketing and ads, because that's why people spend $2 million to have the Super Bowl commercial for 60 seconds. I need to be in your face. It's the same reason why we listen to a song one time, I don't like it, but you listen to it 3-4 times on the radio, you love it now. You know the words to it. Same thing. I'm gonna put it in your face enough, you're going to buy it. And even with this, I learned that colors, like every fast food place, if you think about it, what color is their logo?
Red.
Red makes you hungry. Red makes you hungry. That's a whole psychological game that we don't know about. Like red, I studied that. Like red is a color that makes you say, man, I'm hungry. Think about them. Like majority of them are red.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, we just not playing this game to win. Like it's not in our favor. But I'm not mad at the system though.
You just gotta find a way to.
To play the game.
Yeah.
You can't even beat it. You just gotta find a way to play it.
You're playing the wrong game.
You playing the wrong game.
Yeah.
So for me, once my partners tapped into it, I was like, oh yeah, we winning. We doing something. We doing something.
All right. So in the next segment, we're gonna talk about how to play the game.
Yeah.
We're gonna bring you up to date on the stock market.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're gonna talk about. All right. So you made the transition from the prison, to helping educating brothers on the street corner, and then you were working, but as you were working, you were still saving, investing. Then you made that journey to being a full-time investor, entrepreneur, educator. So, all right, we're going to talk about some concepts as far as invest. So stocks, if anybody's not familiar, that's something that is very near and dear to my heart, because that was like one of my first passions in life.
Okay.
Yeah. I was in love with the stock market when I was like 11 years old.
Nice.
Like it was very, I look back on it now and it's very strange, but it was like my favorite movies was like Wall Street and like, Barbarians at the Gate. And I wanted to be a corporate takeover. That was the first career I wanted to do. When I was 12 years old, people would be like, what do you want to do? The average kid is like, basketball player, firefighter. I'm like, I want to be a corporate takeover artist. Like
Gordon Gekko himself.
It was just intriguing to me. It was just really intriguing to me. I went to Wall Street. My dad took me to Wall Street when I was a kid. And I was always just intrigued by how fast it was moving. And
exposure too, though, man. You've been around finance.
Yeah, right. So that's what I'm saying. So it was just intriguing. So I say that to say, this is something that I definitely was looking forward to having this conversation. Because, like I said, real estate. Everybody's in real estate, and real estate is important. It's extremely important to own the land and to own buildings and to own stores. But I think stocks don't really get enough light.
They don't,
especially in our community, because they feel like it's something that's too complicated over their heads, or it moves at a slower pace than something. Even though real estate can move at a slow pace too, but people are, like we said off camera, they're fascinated with the quick flips. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like people, if they do get involved in investing, trading, they want to go like crypto or Forex or something, like, you know what I'm saying? With even day trading.
Not that word again.
So, but also because it's not tangible.
Right, that too.
They don't see the tangible aspect of it.
And they don't fully understand it.
Yeah.
People still don't fully understand it. So, all right, stock market investing, right?
Talk about it.
What is your theory but from buying and holding and day trading? Because that's kind of like the two trains of thought in investing. It's like day trading. Anybody's not familiar with day trading, that's when you're actually buying a stock and you're trading it intraday, sometimes like within a couple of minutes, and you're getting your profits. Whereas buying hold, there's more of you're buying and you're holding long term. That long term could be 6 months, a year, 10 years, 25 years, but you're not looking to make quick decisions. So what's your theory between buying long term and day trading?
All right, so with buying long term, that's where the wealth is at. Because when you buy long term, you're not affected by the short term activities that go on in the market, and you can't control that. So because I can't control that, I want to say I'm willing to wait that out, right? Whereas with day trading, it's a high. It's like, yo, this just went up. I'm about to get this bread and I'm gonna get out. But what people don't tell you about day trading, and I have nothing against it because the money in it, but those capital gains taxes that come with it gonna eat away at your profit.
Right.
right?
Right.
With stock market, with the way that I invest, my goal is to just hold it at least for a year and a day.
So, all right, let's talk about that. So, capital gains for most people, it's like 15% for the average person.
Nah, 20, 29, 28.
Short-term capital gains.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You don't go with 18.
Yeah, because long-term capital gains is 15%.
Yeah.
So short-term capital gains, it's higher.
Yeah.
So capital gains is when you sell a stock, you got to pay taxes on that, and as you
on the
said,
profit.
On the profit.
on the profit.
Right,
on the profit.
And the short-term capital gains is more than long-term capital gains, which is an incentive to hold it. And the long-term capital gains start at a year, right?
Yep.
Right. So if I bought a stock $100, I made $150. I'm paying the tax on the 50.
You're gonna pay a tax on the 50.
Right.
Now, if you hold it for a year and a day, you're only gonna pay about 12%. If you hold it for 6 months, you'll pay about 22.
Right. Yeah.
So the goal is just, so the goal in building wealth, and it's simply this: it's not about how much money you make; it's about how much you keep.
That's a fact.
You feel what I'm? So for me, I want to keep as much as I can, and so if I gotta hold it for a year and a day, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with it because I've gained equity in it, and if they're paying dividends, I done got 4 quarters worth of dividends. I done made my bread. I'm good. And see, that's the part of like trading that people don't talk about.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like you said, it's not sexy.
It ain't sexy.
And they want short-term gratification without, being in it for the long haul, right? And the thing about it is that nothing happens overnight.
Nothing.
And you don't build wealth overnight as well. And it's important. I always tell I'm a financial advisor. I tell my clients all the time, you have to diversify. Like you can't put all your eggs in any one basket, right? You got to diversify. So you might have real estate, but it's not healthy to just put every dollar that you have into real estate, right? It's common sense.
Yeah.
For a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
But stocks is a key wealth building tool and should definitely be part of somebody. Most people are investing in the stock market without them even knowing it because of the 401k plan. So dividends, right? Because this is something that we haven't covered. And a lot of people have heard of dividends, but they don't fully understand what a dividend is. So what is a dividend?
Yeah, you said that's one of the strategies you use, right?
Yeah, I love them.
Stocks with them.
Yeah. So what happens is dividends are a portion of the profit that companies pay to people who are invested in a business. Not the revenue, but the profit. So if I have a business that brings in $10,000 a month and I profit $5,000 a month, then out of that $5,000, I'll take a percentage of that, which is called the dividend yield, and I'll pay it to my investors as a part of saying, hey, thank you for investing in my business.
Is it paid equally, or is it obviously depending on how many shares you have, you get more?
The dividend is the same. Yeah. So if I pay 50 cents a share, which is $2 a year, everybody gets that. Depending on how much you have, if you got 5, I have 10, he have 15, then we'll all get a different amount. But the underlying asset value is the same.
So what are some top companies as far as dividends these days? What are they paying?
AT&T pays 6%.
6%.
That's major. Now, so this is the dope part. So we talk about real estate, right? The real estate aspect of the stock market, which is called real estate investment trust, which is
a REIT,
which is saying I can own Walmart as a business and I can own the people who Walmart pay rent to, because they don't own the building, they just own the name. Like Amazon has a warehouse. I can own Amazon and I can also own the warehouse who Amazon pays the rent to. REITs pay higher dividends. We talking 12%, 9%, 7%. So individual stocks, AT&T, Macy's, CenturyLink. Now that's a bad business, but they pay a high dividend. That's what's called a dividend trap. We're not gonna get into that.
Are they dispersed quarterly? How are they dispersed?
So every business is different. So with a lot of the REITs, they come out. Some of them pay monthly. And so remember, I was telling you that I have businesses. One of my businesses is Apple Realty. They own 128 Sheratons and Hiltons and 200 and something Marriotts. They're not going out of business anytime soon. But they pay me, I think, at a 9% rate on their REITs. And they pay that monthly. So every month they're paying me.
So that's 9% on the money that you have invested?
No, that's 9% of the stock price.
Okay.
Right. So that's all a dividend yield is. So a dividend yield is this. If the stock price is $100 and a dividend yield is 5%, then your dividend is 5% of that $100. Okay. That's what you're getting paid.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Mm-hmm. It's passive.
Super passive.
But you do have to have large amounts for it to...
This is true.
But you were saying that you have to start looking at it like, okay, this will pay my cell phone bill.
Yeah.
What's your freedom price?
Can you explain that?
You talked about AT&T, but you got a great AT&T story.
So what happened to me was I started asking myself, how do I buy back my freedom? Right? Like, how do I buy it back?
That's powerful.
Right? Because it's not given to you. Just like, chattel slavery. Like, I'm not going to give it to you. You got to buy it back. You got to fight for it. Mm-hmm. So I was like, how do I buy back my freedom? With the stock market. Because you can't save to invest to get it back. Right? We know that. You can't work a bunch of hours to get it back. So the next best thing for me was dividends. So I was like, okay, what do I use every day? My phone bill, AT&T, and I have an Apple product. So because AT&T pays a 5%, 6% dividend yield, I was like, okay, I need this many shares of this business to pay off my phone bill every 4 months. Because AT&T pays quarterly, which is every 3 months. Mm-hmm. Disney pays semi-annually, which is twice a year. And then you have some businesses that pay every month, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, if I can get AT&T to pay my phone bill through their dividends 4 times a year, then I have essentially bought back my freedom because I no longer have to work to pay for that phone bill. AT&T paying it for me. And so you can do that with if you're in Georgia, you can use Southern Company, which is another great dividend business. How much is your phone bill? I mean, your light bill, $80, $100. They pay like a 3-4% dividend. Figure out how much the dividend is per quarter, how many shares you need of that business, and then let that pay your light bill. So if you can use your dividends from a business to pay your light bill and your phone bill, you've bought back some of your freedom. Because now you can take that money and invest it and do something else with it.
Absolutely.
That is optimizing your money. The money is just a tool. We know that much. So if we can use the tool to do what it's supposed to do, then we get maximum value for it.
And that's, so once you fully understand investing, you start to understand that it's like Spanish, right? So I don't know how many Spanish people are in New Orleans, but
they got a few.
Half of like 70% of New York is Spanish. Maybe not. 50%. 50% of New York
City.
Yeah, 50% of New York is Spanish.
Speaking. It's a lot.
So I say that to say, when you're around Spanish enough, you start to understand it a little bit better. Mm-hmm. Maybe you might not be able to speak it, but you can kind of have a general understanding of it, right? The same thing with investing. When you're around the language of investing, it starts to make sense, and you realize that they're all kind of similar. It's just like, actually, when you learn foreign languages, like Spanish is similar to French. They all come from like
Spanish, Portuguese.
Yeah, they're all kind of similar. I forget where the root came from, but long story short of it is that what you just explained was the same theory that DJ Envy explained to us when he says that he doesn't buy any liability until he has an asset to pay for it. His thing is real estate. So he buys a home, and now he has a home to actually pay rental for his Lamborghini or something like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
feel that.
You just breaking it down on a small level.
Right.
But
I mean, that's key though, right? If you break it out a small level, like.
Well, yeah. And then also what people have to understand too is that, so people might say, okay, well, I got to put $2,000 into a stock to get $100 dividend. It's not worth it. But the thing about it is that it's not like you're paying for something, you're investing. So that $2,000 is going to grow over the course of time while you're getting your dividend. So it's not like you just putting your money into Never Ever Land. It's actually going to an investment that'll probably gain value over the course of time. But in the meantime, you're actually gaining income that you can use via the dividend. And now you can actually use that to support your lifestyle. Because like you said, you got to find a way to actually make money while you're sleeping. That's what Warren Buffett said, right? He said if you don't make money while you're asleep, you work till you die.
Yeah.
So by doing that, now you're actually, okay, now I can, like you said, you can focus on, okay, now I did that. Now I got to do something to pay my rent. I got to do something to pay my mortgage, and I got to do something to pay my car bill. And then before you know it, you're not actually paying anything yourself. It's all being paid for you, which leaves you more money because that $200 now you can actually reinvest and do other things, and just kind of like a domino effect.
It's like Lord of the Sunset. He was like, yo, I treat money like little soldiers. They have to go work.
Listen, but also, you forgetting something that's major. The ownership.
Yep.
You feel me? So while your money is working for you through the dividends, your ownership, your equity is also increasing.
Yeah.
So that's how you leverage the game with that.
Yeah. And that's something that people don't understand either. It's like, people's like, well, everybody's not an entrepreneur. I don't want to own a business. There's a lot that comes with owning a business, but there's more than one way to own a business. If you buy stock, you're an owner in that company. That's probably the easiest way to own a business. Now, you're not going to be a majority owner, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
You're still an owner.
1% of something is better than 0%.
But listen, so Warren Buffett owns 6% of Coca-Cola, right? So he's still not a majority owner, but he still has say-so. And this is the one thing about the stock market that I love. I still can vote on every business that I own, and they have to acknowledge me. Like, I literally bought 3 shares of Berkshire Hathaway B. Let's make sure I say that B.
What's the A? Like 100 something thousand?
Nah, go up 2 more hundred. It's 300 and something thousand.
Please,
right?
There's a difference.
There's a big difference. So let me say, because I don't want nobody to be like, hey, man, you ain't got no...
Man, I heard you on that podcast.
You feel me? So I literally bought 3 shares of Berkshire B.
Which is Warren Buffett's company, for anybody who doesn't know.
I bought my daughter. That's another thing. So at 3 years old, my daughter has $5,000 invested in the stock market.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about that. You can finish
cool.
it. I'm ask you about that.
But I bought 3 shares of Berkshire B so I could go to the Warren Buffett annual meeting, and I had right to vote on anything.
In Omaha?
Yeah.
Did you go?
I went to NIPS. That's when everything happened. But I'm going next year.
Okay.
For sure. And the only way you can go is if you own at least 1 share. Right? So I was like, okay, cool. And you actually get to talk to this man.
Wow.
So I'm glad you said that about your daughter, because speaking of NIP, actually, I posted about NIP, you commented on that post.
For sure.
About, and you was talking about a custodial account for your daughter. So I had put a post up that, like, if you celebrate Christmas or for kids' birthdays, a suggestion is that, if you're going to spend $200 on gifts, maybe spend $100 on the gifts and $100 on an investment, right? And people was like, well, how do I do that? So
I'll walk you through that.
Yeah, walk us through it. Exactly.
So it's basically, I don't buy my daughter toys at all. I told her mom, and I'm like, listen, I'll buy clothes, I'll buy food, I'll buy necessities, but everything else, I'm buying stocks. So just walking, it's called a UGMA account. It's a custodial account. I use TD Ameritrade. And all you're doing is just like opening up a bank account, and you'll just add your kid to it. And what happens is you have actual control of the account until the kid is 18. Once the kid makes 18, then they have control. My thing is simple. And so this is how we shift the dynamics. Like, this ownership stuff is real powerful to me. My daughter is 3, and I invest money for her monthly, weekly, right? Right now, my daughter at 3 can tell you what assets and liabilities are. These is a conversation that we have, right? She knows, I say, what dividends come from? She'll say dividends come from shares. She'll say that. By the time she's 18, she'll already be 6 figures her own net worth. That's powerful. That's a whole nother dynamic. We've put her in position to have privileged opportunities, right? Also, we've now established to her the importance of ownership, right? So what happened with us when we was kids, I don't know about y'all, when I was kids, money was always scarce. Like, we ain't got no money for that, we got bills, right?
I heard that answer.
But but now at 3, she can talk to me about Disney stock. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So for me, that's what I do. Everything we do right now, her account, I think she had like 5,500 because I've been buying these weed stocks since they've been on sale, and I bought some for her. Canopy Group.
What was the name of your account at the bank? The type of account that
it's called a custodial account.
Okay.
But when you look it up on the TD Ameritrade, it's going to be called UGMA.
Can it go through, I know you said TD Ameritrade, but is it offered through other banks as well?
Well, I went through, you can go through Fidelity,
Okay.
Charles Schwab. Most of them have it.
Yeah, they all have. And it's
Most of them have.
They have UTMA accounts. They have 529, which is a college savings plan. There's a couple of different ways that you
Now,
can
I don't
save.
like the 529.
Why not?
Because it's boxed in.
That's true.
It's boxed in, just you have to use it for college.
Well, they actually changed it with the new tax law, and now you can use it
Okay.
for any form of education.
Okay.
But it still has to be used for education. Or you get penalized.
And so with the custodial account, she can use it for whatever she want at 18. So that's why it's good for you to, now you can build that conversation. That's why it's good for us to learn how to invest.
Yeah.
Because our kids are going to do what they see us doing. Yeah. That's just a natural fact. We all are creatures of our environment. It is what it is. So if we start having these conversations with them at a young age, like her favorite book right now is a book called The Evolution of Money. Right? She'd be like, Dad, let's read The Evolution of Money. Right? And
how old is she?
3.
She knows how to read?
Yeah.
3?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, did my son know how to read?
We walked through this.
No,
maybe I failed as a parent.
I'm in education. My son he's 5 and he's just learning how to read.
Well, I mean, she I would say this. She identifies words.
All right, okay.
So I'm not gonna say like she up here like
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say like she up here on some Doogie Owls or MD shit. Yeah. She identifies words.
Nah, but that's extremely powerful, like you said, because the parents have to lead it by example.
You have to.
If you don't set an example for your kids, then they're gonna get the example just from pop culture, music,
the world,
streets, like you know what I mean. So it's extremely important, and like I said, it's just seeing different people and different conversations, and it's like that's one of the cool things about this podcast. It's like we have these conversations, and if it's like we could be like people on a basketball court or just you know what I mean, like but we're actually talking about things that are really important.
Yeah,
like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's like a cool feel because it's not stuck up, it's not fake, it's not phony, it's natural. And a lot of times people feel like they have to like dumb themselves down to be accepted, or you gotta watch how you speak because you don't want to sound too intelligent.
Right.
Like these things is real. Like it's real. Like,
right.
I'm glad that I think that the tide is starting to turn on that.
It is. I actually I love the temperature that's going on right now. Just with even with you all, I'm like, bro, like y'all shifting the culture with this.
Yeah, appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying? Because there are a lot of podcasts out there. Right, everybody has something to say.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Right, everybody has something to say, and they want to say it in their own unique way. What I love about what y'all have is, however you gonna come speak it.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Like there is no, hey, we can't, like whatever you want to speak about, but it's all about the improvement of the culture as far as financial literacy.
Right.
And I didn't know you was into finance, bro.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother connection right there.
It goes
right?
back to the ownership piece.
The ownership, right?
Like, nobody's telling us,
right.
Make sure y'all cover this. This is
Facts.
like, yo, we're gonna put the cameras up, we're gonna put
And
the
we
mics
gonna go
up,
hard.
we're just gonna start speaking.
Right.
It's powerful, man.
I remember you posted something. You said something about ownership.
Okay.
Something you posted like recently. And I love when you post certain stuff because I can come in there and just go hard. Right? I'll be waiting. I'll be like, come on, man. Like, come with it. Like, so, and somebody complained about, it was about taxes.
Okay.
And I said, the problem is that because somebody said, why don't they teach us this in school?
I know about that with the wealthiest people paying less. Yeah.
And so I was like, yo, why would they teach us this in school? It's not that they should teach us. Why would they? Right? Mm-hmm. So this is a dope analogy that I always use. So we know that the lion is at the top of the food chain, right? So he's not the king of the jungle. Like we feel like that's some bullshit, right? He lives in a safari, so I'm not gonna say that shit, right? But he's at the top of the food chain. The lion cannot tell the zebra, the impala, or the water buffalo how to get away. He can't. If I tell you how to get away, what do I eat? What do I eat? Either I become a vegetarian or I eat my own kind, right? So he can't. And if he did, they would tell one another how to get away. Same thing with this. The upper echelon are the financial predators. We are the financial prey. I can't teach you how to get away. But if you learn, I can't stop you. I can't stop you. Wealthy people don't make wealthy people rich. Poor people do.
Right.
Because we have no relationship with money. So I can't teach you how to get away. Then what I'm gonna do? But I'm gonna teach my kids how to be predators. And I'm teaching my daughter how to be a predator. Not on people, but just how to have ownership. They can't teach you that in school. Why would they?
Yeah. That's what the 5%ers say, like 85% is ruled by 10%, which is like the bloodsuckers of the poor. And the 5% is the poor righteous teachers.
Poor righteous teachers.
But we not poor. But we the righteous teachers.
Righteous teachers.
Yeah.
Facts.
The righteous
Facts.
teachers. We're gonna take
Liberate
the poor,
that.
We're gonna take the poor part out.
Liberate that.
Because
I like that.
we gonna paid in full.
Yeah,
But,
I like that.
I
like that.
Because we gonna liberate the people from the bloodsuckers of the poor for
Facts.
sure.
That's what we're here for.
Facts. Appreciate that.
Can we just talk about investing in ETFs?
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So can you explain what an ETF is, and then how do we invest in it?
So ETF is an exchange traded fund. So it's basically so all my people tell me, like, I just had the dopest analogies, bro. Like, I come up with them because I love to relate to people, right?
Yeah, man.
So an ETF is like saying this without even getting technical. Let's say you go in Walmart, right? You go in Walmart and you don't know what you want to buy, so you buy the whole store. That's an index fund. Let's say you go to Walmart and you want to buy a specific kind of Pop-Tarts, right? So you go to the Pop-Tart aisle and you see so many flavors of Pop-Tarts. You're like, you know what? I just want this whole aisle of Pop-Tarts. So you buy the whole aisle of Pop-Tarts. That's an ETF. Does it make sense? So what the ETF is, it's a group of businesses that operate the same or sell similar products. Example, you want to invest in marijuana, but you don't know which marijuana stock to buy. You buy either a marijuana ETF called YOLO or you buy MJ. And now at this point, you have all the marijuana stocks.
They're all inside.
That's an ETF.
Gotcha.
A trick to that is this. You can buy ETF, and because they've already done the homework, because they're going to have the best performing stocks in the ETF, at that point, you can go to what's called ETF DB, which is ETF database. I'm giving y'all some game right quick. Like, you go to ETF database, you put that ETF in, and they'll tell you every ETF that's in that ETF. And then they'll tell you how much of a percentage of that ETF is holding that business. So it'll say this ETF has 15% of canopy growth. That means for every dollar you put in up, 15% of that is going to canopy growth. It may have 10% of Aurora cannabis. It may have 5% of Crohn's. So you can literally say, okay, I don't want to do the homework. I want to be lazy. I'll go to the ETF, see which ones they hold, and just pick the top companies in the ETF. And at that point, you win. Now, you don't know the value of it. That's what I teach people about value, how to value it. But if you just want to be a lazy investor, you can just do that. Because ETF's going to have the top performing businesses in that sector inside the ETF, and you just pick that.
And index funds.
So index funds would be you buying a whole market. Now, they are broken down different ways. So you can buy the Dow Jones, you can buy the S&P 500. These are indexes.
NASDAQ as well?
Yeah, you can buy NASDAQ, you can buy the Russell 2000, which are the 4 majors. Then you can break it down and say, okay, I just want to get a large cap ETF. So that's all businesses that have 1 billion, 2 billion or better, right? So every business in here is going to be $2 billion or better. 10 billion or better. Then you can buy a mid cap, which businesses that stop at 2 billion. And then you can buy a small cap, which is businesses under 2 billion. $2 billion, worth under $2 billion market cap.
Yeah, the market cap. So market capitalization. That's kind of how they categorize stocks.
Yeah.
Right? And I always like the analogy that I use is like you have giant cap, large cap. Those are like giant companies.
Yeah, 100 billion or better.
Yep. Then you have mid cap. Then you have small cap. Then you have micro cap.
Yeah.
So the thing is that usually and correct me if I'm wrong, the larger the cap, the less volatile. Like it's almost impossible for Apple to just fall apart overnight.
That's true.
They're also not going to quadruple overnight either. Where a smaller company, good news can send their stock skyrocketing.
Yes.
But then bad news can bankrupt them. So it's kind of like a speedboat and a cruise ship.
It's like a WeWork situation.
Yeah.
WeWork. We got to talk about WeWork.
We can talk about WeWork. But that's called beta. What you're talking about, the volatility. So if you're going to invest in a stock, you can look at the beta of it. A low beta means it's not volatile. A high beta means, like Tesla, high beta. High risk, high reward. Right? But McDonald's, probably a beta of 0.9. Right? So it's not going, it's not, like you're not about to wake up today and McDonald's is at 230 and tomorrow is at 150. That's not about to happen. Yeah. But with Tesla, you'll wake up today is at 250. Tomorrow you can wake up is at 180. Easy. Right? So high beta. And the market cap is just simply this. If I have 10 shares of my business on the stock market and they are worth $10 a share, at that point I have a $100 market cap. So it's how many outstanding shares on the market times the stock price. That's how you can tell what the market cap is of a business.
Can we talk about that WeWork situation?
Let's talk about it.
So if anybody's not familiar, WeWork was the talk of Wall Street, right?
Yes.
They was IPO. They were the most valuable. What were they?
45 billion.
Yeah, coming in at 45 to 50.
Something. And they fell apart. And now they had to withdraw their IPO. The CEO got fired.
Stepped down. He lost his billionaire status. Yes.
So
In a day.
Yeah. So a lot of times people see these stories, they don't fully understand, like, how is this possible? Like, what's your take on that?
Well, so shout out my people, house on the 216. She had me one day, cousin Nita. She hit me and she was like, Trapper.
Shout out to Nita.
That's my heart right there. Yeah. She hit me up one day. She was like, Trapper, man, I want to invest in WeWork. I said, oh, no, you not. No, you not. She was like, why? I was like, man, these people don't make money. So one of the things I love about the stock market is it literally teaches you how to be a businessman or a woman because you look at businesses all day, right? So they're not profitable.
Well, a lot of companies aren't. But I'll let you finish, though.
Okay. So they aren't profitable and they don't have the revenue to back it up. So like not only aren't they, so you can actually not be profitable but still have a lot of revenue. Netflix.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But
or
Uber. But they aren't profitable and they don't have the revenue coming in. And so when I invest in a business, I look at this. I always look at the inverse, meaning if something bad happens, how likely is it for this stock to fall? So we know WeWork is based off of entrepreneurial space, right? So they rent space to entrepreneurs. So I looked at it like this. They already are not profitable. If something happens as far as recession-wise, will entrepreneurs rather come sit in a room at their own house in a table and do work and not pay that rent? Or will they still pay that rent? They probably will cut that rent out. So that business model isn't, to me, it wasn't something that has a lot of longevity in it now. Dude was a bad CEO with a great idea though. But when he got the bread, he just was on some wild out. He was on some Party City, he went Wolf of Wall Street, snorting coke off the butt cheeks thing.
Yeah, I envisioned the Lambo scene.
Yeah, he had a lot going on, and he didn't want up it. But so this is the thing. Once somebody who's a major investor said, "Yo, I'm pulling my bread," SoftBank, which is once they like, "Yo, I'm pulling my bread," yo, like, do it on the wrong level. He living his life wrong. Now other major investors are like, "Wait a minute. I'm gonna pull my bread too."
Yeah, we all leaving that ship.
Yeah, and so now the people, nobody wants to get stuck holding the bag. Yeah. So the next biggest thing is, dude, you gotta go. We don't want you to go, but you gotta step down because we need another face, right? And so he was stubborn for a while, like, nah, because he made the business.
Yeah,
it's hard for you to let your baby go because even if you step down, you know what's coming next.
Yeah. The ship be sinking.
So I just thought it was a bad business as a whole. Out the gate. What you think about it?
I think that It has potential because there's a lot of co-working.
Regis is one.
Yeah, Regis.
I like that.
Actually, Nipsey. Speaking of Nipsey,
Vector 90.
Vector 90. Yeah. It's interesting what you said as far as economic downturn, because I was going to ask you about the recession or people saying it's going to be a recession. It's interesting. I never really thought about that from that standpoint, but it makes a lot of sense as far as to say, okay, if worse comes to worse, I'll just stay in my living room.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't have to. You don't really. If you go into those office, you don't have to have an office.
Nah.
If you're doing that,
Right.
Because other than like holding meetings, which you can just pay,
Zoom.
yeah. Or Zoom.
I'm invested in Zoom.
It's just not sustainable, right? Like I might not have meetings every day of every month of the year.
I think people are working differently now too.
Yeah.
It's kind of an old business model to actually go in. Like I have an office I probably go to like once a week.
Exactly.
You don't need to physically go into an office.
Right. Like, and you're there once a week. Literally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point? It's not sustainable.
You may go there just to like clear your mind, see what's going on. I'm just going.
I gotta leave the suburbs for
for a minute. Let me go ahead. But you don't need it.
No, you're right.
So that's what I thought about it. Now the bad part, some of them are actually profitable. So at that point, the whole dynamic of the business changes. Because if you're a profitable business in an economic downturn, so now we're gonna tap into something that's deeper called free cash flow, right? So this is the money that a business has that's not attached to anything. So just after they pay their bills and after they pay everything, they still have this. So Apple is like one of the has the biggest
war chest. Yeah, they got
they free cash flow is like crazy.
Billions, so crazy.
Yeah, it's like 190 billion. So what happens is, in case of an economic downturn, they still have money to keep the business going. If you're a profitable business and you have a good free cash flow, you can still sustain for a given amount of time. But if you're negative all around the board, you're gonna collapse. And so for me, that's something I look for in a business. I need you to have a moat, which is a competitive advantage, and I need you to have a good like free cash flow. I need that shit to be positive.
So when you look at a business, what are you looking at? You looking at their earnings report? You like what do you actually look, and how do you evaluate whether it's a business or not?
So I look for a few things. Like, so it's like me looking at a woman. No to nobody. Like, I don't want nobody to say nothing crazy.
Get the notepads out.
Right. So you have what you look for, and then you have what's there. Right. And then you ask yourself, how does this fit to what I want? Right. So what I do is the first thing I look at is this. I never look at the stock price, because the stock price is only based on how you and I feel about it. Right. So first thing I look at, who running a business. And I put this on my page all the time. How a person runs a business tells me a lot about the business. Because if you can't run the business, I can't make no money. So I'm gonna look at, when did you get into position of the CEO? How did the business run before you? And what have you done since you got taken control of the business? That's first and foremost. So I want to look at management first. The next thing I'm gonna look at is, do you have a competitive edge? Right? So like, what makes you better than everybody else? What makes you sustainable? So for instance, if you bought Coca-Cola, so you would have to ask yourself this: if you're a retail business, what does your shelf domination look like? How do you dominate the shelves? So if you go into sodas, Coca-Cola dominates. But if you look at the overall business, Pepsi does. Pepsi has more products. But if you looking at sheer beverages, Coca-Cola dominates. Even when you go to a fast food store, they're predominantly Coke products.
Coke products, yeah.
They're called. It's one of those things where they coined the name. It's like Coke.
Coke.
Yeah.
And so
It means soda now.
It means bingo.
Right.
When your name becomes synonymous with something, you have a competitive edge.
We had that conversation. It's like Band-Aid.
Bingo.
It's like polo.
Bingo.
Yeah.
That style of shirt,
It's
it's a polo.
Even if it's a Lacoste shirt,
It's a polo.
shirt.
Yeah. Exactly. So I'm looking for that doable competitive edge. And now we're going to tap into earnings. So I want to see what have you done the last 8 quarters? Have you beat earnings the last 8 quarters? Meaning, have you made profit the last 8 quarters? And then I want to look at your free cash flow. I want to look at working capital, which is current assets and current liabilities, meaning what you have in these next 12 months. So if something happened in the next 12 months, is that money positive? If it's negative, we got an issue. It's not bad, but we got an issue. If it's positive, then I know you can hold it down. It's like having money in a savings account.
So when you're looking at all these things, are we looking through publications? Are we going to a site? Like, is it like Barron's?
Yeah,
Wall Street Journal?
so face value, you can go to Yahoo Finance.
Okay.
Just face value. Mm-hmm. You go to Yahoo Finance and you can do the numbers. If you want to dig deep, you go to that company's quarterly report or annual report. So what happens is, it's another thing like why I love the stock market. If you're a public company, you have to tell people what you're doing.
Information has to be public.
It has to be. So even your competitors get to see what you're doing. So that's what I do. Like if I like a business, I want to see what the competitor's doing. And then I want to see how are you at matching up to what they're doing. Are you shifting that way? Right? So I want to see how are they moving toward the future? Because we know every 2 years, the business cycle changes.
Yeah, that's like when you hear like on CNBC, it's like, oh, their quarterly reports coming
Bingo.
in.
And
so
they have to. Everybody has to do it. And so if it's a dividend paying company, are you increasing those? If you're increasing those, that means you have some profitability. Because no business can consistently increase paying me more money if they don't have money.
So can we talk about the education?
Am I going too deep right now?
Nah, man. It's great. It's great.
It's perfect. So, all right. So the education, right? You got your own platform. So what made you want to do that and educate other people with the knowledge that you have?
So what happened for me was it got me out the trap.
Yeah.
Literally. Like I stopped hustling. Stopped selling weed. I stopped robbing. Stopped selling coke. I started putting all my money in the stock market. And at that point, I wasn't worrying about nobody shooting me. I got shot. I shot twice in my leg, once in my ass. And I almost got kidnapped when I was 15. Like I was halfway inside a trunk. For me, it was like, damn, I can make money doing this shit, excuse my language, and I ain't gotta worry about nothing. It was synonymous with hustling for me. So that's another reason why I love it so much, is because me actually breaking down a business is like me breaking down a pack.
Yeah. That's great. Like one of the things I heard you say in one of your videos was like, yo, this is comparable to the streets.
That's how I learned.
I wish people would have known.
Yeah.
This whole time, this is like comparable to the streets.
They the biggest gangsters. So once I learned that, again, my whole movement started, and this ain't nothing against nobody. Shout out to all my trappers that's rocking with me, right? But my movement wasn't for everybody. I'm not for everybody. I don't relate to everybody. Everybody won't relate to me, and that's cool. I was straight for people from the streets because I felt like I could teach you something that nobody taught you, and I gave us the leverage. And so a friend of mine was like, yo, you need to put that on like Instagram. Yeah. Now, mind you, like I wasn't the Instagram person. Like, yo, I'm not about to be taking these pictures, talking to these people like that. But once I realized how powerful it was, like the courage was like, yeah, let's talk about it. And so once people started telling me, yo, I'm investing in stocks because of you, it was bigger than me at that point. And the greatest way for us to grow, real talk, I've learned this. You'll get stagnant in your knowledge. Even though you can learn, you can read, you learn more when you teach other people.
That's a fact.
Absolutely.
That's a fact.
You learn more when you teach other people.
Yeah.
And so people have unique questions. And in order to be a good teacher, you have to have these prolific answers, but they have to make sense.
Yeah.
So it makes you, I don't want to say dumb it down, but it makes you like dig deeper into your mental vortex and like, how can I make this sound like apples and oranges?
Yeah. Or even if they're not grasping it, like, how can I modify it to make sure that they grasp
They get it.
Like when I first went into education, like they had me teaching health.
Right.
I never wanted to be in a classroom, straight up. And it was a challenge every day. Like kids would come with questions, and I'm like, damn, do I even know the appropriate answer?
Exactly.
Like, I have to go learn now this
Exactly.
answer. So the next day I come, all right,
I got the answer.
Here you go.
So that's the best way. So once that happened, that was the
So what are you teaching people that you're working with? Are you teaching them like step by step, like how to get into the game, how to evaluate stocks, like all of the above?
So I actually have different levels what I get into.
Okay.
So I meet people at their level. There is no like one size fits all. So I actually have I have 3 ebooks.
Okay.
So the Wall Street Trapper 101, Wall Street Trapper 102, Wall Street Trapper 103.
104 on the way.
104 on the way. The name 104 is Trap Doing Numbers.
Thug Motivation.
Yeah, supply the streets. That's the name 104.
Thug Motivation, for real.
And I actually have Trapper flashcards. And this was a project that I used. I used them on my daughter's mother. I was like, look, teach her these. Spend about 20 minutes a day just teaching her these cards. It's digital. And in about 3 months, she was like, hey, yo, I want to open up an account. So at that point, I knew it was suitable for kids and adults. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So one of my courses is called Jumping Off the Porch. Everything I do is related to the streets.
I was going to say, like, everything you do is synonymous with street code.
Yeah.
Right? Like, from even Wallstreet Trapper. We didn't even get into the name, but, like, obviously, trapping, we know it, like you say, is, like, synonymous with somebody doing illegal things in an area.
Right.
Wall Street is synonymous with people who come from wealth. Right? So when you think that, like, let's converse
together.
And now, like,
that's it.
We're going to play on that.
And that was the name. The name of the business is From the Trap to Wall Street.
Yeah.
That's the name of my business. So my first is called Jumping Off the Porch. And what that does is we don't even talk about stocks in there. Because one of the things is people want to just jump into the stock market. You can't jump into a fight if you don't have a strategy. You don't have a game plan. So what the Jumping Off the Porch course is, we talk about finding your style of investing. So I map out 3 or 4 different styles of investing, and you can figure out which one best fits you. Then we go into why equity is better than cash. And then we go into 3 different strategies that are real simple on how you can put your portfolio together. So once you take that course, now you have an understanding of, okay, now I know how to get in the game. You have a strategy. The next thing I have is called Welcome to the Trap. That's the beginner's course. We just go over the basics, how the stock market works, how to set up your account, index funds, ETFs, things like that. We go into some other things. And then there's Wall Street Trapping. Wall Street Trapping, we go through the basics, and then we tap into like what to research, how to research a CEO, what activities are he doing that puts us on alert, how to follow big investors to see what they're doing. So every so often, every month, big investors like Warren Buffett, they have to report what they're buying. So I teach them how to look at that. That's a good gauge. I teach them what to research, the fundamentals, balance sheets, as income statements, cash flow statements, what ratios to use to find an actual valuation of a business. Like I walk you through the process. So when you finish that, you know, you feel like you met the plug.
So that was my next thing. It was like, while I had it, let's talk about the plug, because the plug package is something that's very unique that no one's really doing.
Nah, so I looked at the game and I was just like, okay, like what are people doing, right? And so with me, I know that people have bought into me, right? Cool, I want to learn stocks, but I've bought into Trapper. Like, so that's a connection right there. Mm-hmm. And because everybody learns different, even if you buy the course, you still might need somebody to walk you through the course. Because even though listen, we all learn different. Mm-hmm. Some people are visual, and some people just need you, like, look, hold my hand and just do it. If you hold my hand and walk me through it, like, yo, I'm going to kill it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go to people. Like, I'm going to literally fly out to you. So that's what the Meet the Plug is. It's literally you get the Wall Street Trapping course, and then I come to your city and I walk you through the course. Mm. And then I walk you through whatever questions you have about the course or about investing. If you already have an account, we gonna audit the account. We gonna make sure your shit set up right.
So if I live in Detroit, the plug is coming to Detroit.
I'm coming to Detroit. Now the only thing about that is if you live in like the backwoods, I'm not coming to the backwoods, family. We gonna go to where the airport is, and we gonna meet up at a WeWork. You feel me? Like, give me some room. But if you
made it out the hood,
man. But that's what the Meet the Plug is. It's actually me coming to you, and then I give you 4 phone calls directly to me after that. So we have this. We do lunch, my treat, with the Meet the Plug. We walk through the course. It's a full day. We do like few hours, then we eat lunch, we go through it. Like, you're going to, because what happens is, and I've learned this with a mastermind I just did with my big bro at Hood Estates, is once you start talking to people in person, you never know where that conversation goes. Mm-hmm. And so now when I see you on the gram, you're like, oh, what's good, Trap? I'm like, oh, what's good, Tim? Because we've made a connection now. It's not just you bought the course. I mean, you bought the course. I love the support. And I rock with my trappers. But once we have that connection, it's like, it's a relationship now. Because I've literally flew out to talk to you. We talked, we ate lunch, and all kind of stuff that happened at that point. So.
Nah, it was powerful, man. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Man, my pleasure,
I'm glad that it was crazy because, you, like you said, you didn't reach out to me. I just heard, shout out to my man, Matt. I don't know who told me you was going to be in New York.
Right.
I think Matt said you was going to be in New York.
Right.
I hit you up like, yo, you interested in coming in the podcast? So a lot of people ask, like, yo, what's the process to be on the podcast? Most of the time, it's my intuition.
It's a genuine process, right?
And Troy, have I failed yet?
Yo, man, we 100 for 100. They said we like Bad Boy in the 90s.
Yo,
man.
y'all killing
nothing but
it.
hits.
Y'all got
nothing but
hits,
hits,
bro. Like hits.
Nothing but hits.
I think this is definitely going to be some episode that's going to live forever.
Yeah,
man, I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, and shout out to Q. He introduced stocks on our podcast, episode 15.
Right,
Check that out.
I heard, yeah. I was digging that.
And this is like, now this is a full like circle of the stock market for sure.
Y'all got heavy hitters come on, y'all. I kind of was like, they got heavy hitters.
And you made it to the green room.
Right.
Yeah, so
you
like
feel me?
we back in the crib.
We haven't
We
been
in a
here
trap.
for a while. We haven't been here for a while. But I appreciate it, man. It's just the information was extremely valuable, but just the story too, I think is extremely inspirational, motivational, and I think that it's bigger. Like they say, it's bigger than rap. Like, you know what I mean?
Right,
it's bigger than just business. Like, it's real people.
Facts,
I mean,
man.
everybody's got their own personal journey, and to see people overcome adversity.
Yeah.
And to see people, put their minds to something, and to, like I said, it doesn't matter where you come from. The game is the game.
The game is the game.
Game is the game.
And it ain't going nowhere.
It's
not going nowhere.
That's
so
a
we just
fact.
got to play it.
You gotta make sure you're playing the right one.
We got to play it.
That's a fact.
Learn the rules, play the game, man.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
So, how can the people contact you? What's your social media handles and all that?
So I'm mostly on Instagram, Wall_Street_ Trapper. That's on IG. YouTube is just Wallstreet Trapper. I got the university, www.thetrapperuniversity.com. Check that out. And I got a podcast, Wall_Street_ Trapper on Google Play.
I listened to a couple episodes.
Yeah, I've been lagging, bro, but like I got to get back on it.
That's why I locked in, man.
Yeah, I got to get back on because that was me in my rawest form. Like I get to just talk my talk without nothing going on.
Yeah.
Like I would get up in the morning. That would be in the morning for me because that's when I'm freshest.
Yeah.
Like I done slept, my mind done marinated. I don't eat no meat, so I be feeling good. You feel me? I be feeling good. You hear me? So I got to get back on my podcasts. But they definitely can check them out. Definitely. And that's on Anchor and Google Play and Spotify. So check me out on that Wallstreet Trapper.
Dope. Troy, housekeeping items?
Yeah. Shout out to everybody on Patreon. We got a long list, man. I'm gonna go down. Shout out to Morgan, Melissa, Mario, Elise, Tanika, Ramel, Calvin, Brandon J, and Brandon M. We actually had a convo with him the other day. He's doing amazing things, and hopefully we'll be able to do some stuff together.
Those are just the new members.
These are the new members, bro. And shout out to my man Brian Forbes, man. B Forbes, that's a hometown dude. He actually when we did the episode about trucking with Alex, he had just bought a truck.
Okay.
So I was like, bro, you gotta hear this episode, and then we've been linked up since. So shout out to him. He actually joined Patreon just to show some support. Like we grew up together, but he just wanted to show some love. So shout out to everybody that's on Patreon.com, all our patrons. As you know, there's 5 tiers. You can join at any tier you like, and continue to support. It allows us to do things like travel and get people on that people have been asking for. And so shout out to everybody that's doing that, and everybody that's been purchasing the merch on earnyourleisure.com. our shirts are up there. It's getting a little chilly out in New York, so
We're going to have hoodies.
the hoodie season is back. Hoodie season's back.
Certified Wall Street Trapper hoodie right now, man. Yeah.
Hoodie season is back, so that will be up there in a few varieties, and our tour shirts are there too.
Yeah.
So we got LA, we got Brooklyn, we got Houston, Atlanta, Chicago, and
Philly. Philly's next.
Philly, y'all up next.
I need to go to Philly. I ain't never been to Philly.
Oh, you gotta pop up. You gotta pop up on this event.
I was at the one in Houston.
Oh yeah, you was in Houston, so you know.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Came for y'all.
Houston
man.
was crazy.
Houston was love. Houston for real.
Shout out to H-Town.
Houston was love.
Houston, we coming back.
You feel me? When y'all going to Philly, I definitely want to come there.
Probably we don't have a date yet, but
it's soon.
soon.
Definitely. Let me
And
know.
we got and DC. We got something coming for DC.
I'm about to shoot that next.
That we are excited to. Hopefully, we're gonna tell y'all about that. In the near future. But DC is gonna be special.
Yeah. DC is a beautiful city.
For sure. So so the book tip of the week is none other than our guest. He has 3 ebooks: Wall Street Trapper 101, 102, and 103.
You dig? 104 on the way.
So make sure you cop those. Where can I get those from?
On my website, wallstreettrapping.com, but link in my bio. Y'all know the cliche.
That's a fact. And then also, speaking of links in the bio, so everybody, well, if you didn't know, I'm a financial advisor. So if you want a 30-minute free consultation, you can go to earnyourleisure.com. My calendar is up there. It has 3 areas specifically: retirement, investments, and insurance. If it's not related to that, don't book.
Yo, I can't pick your brain.
No. I can't help you with offshore banking.
Facts.
I can't help you flip a home. None of that stuff. We have guests that bring on the podcast that can help you with those different areas.
I'll do something, bro, right here. Okay. So anybody that books something with you, I'll do another 30-minute one for free myself.
There you have it.
We'll do that.
All right.
So you let me know who it is.
Yeah,
you tell them get in touch with me. I'll do a 30-minute with them myself.
All right.
How that sound?
I got you.
There it is.
Supply the streets, man.
Supply the streets. So all right, guys. We'll see you next week. Thank you for rocking with us. Peace.
100.